All right, so friends, first I'm going to walk you through creating the virtual environment for our Python project where we're going to be using pymongo to communicate with our MongoDB database. So what we're going to simply do is create the virtual environment, then we're going to install pymongo, after which we're going to be setting up a simple CRUD application using Python. So let's get started. I'm currently on my desktop. As you can see in my terminal, I'm going to simply make a new directory. So I'm going to call this pymongo tutorial, just like this. Next, we're going to jump into that folder or directory that we have created. What I'm now going to do would be to create a Python virtual environment. So I'm simply going to say python-m venv. So let's set up that virtual environment where we're going to be writing code. All right, so now that our virtual environment is created, we are simply going to activate the virtual environment. So I am going to do that by simply bringing up the venv scripts activate.bat. For PowerShell activation, we don't need the .bat. So with the second command here, we are able to activate our virtual environment for PowerShell. As you can see right here, we have venv, which shows that this is activated. The next thing we're going to do would be to install pymongo using pip. So let's go ahead and say pip install pymongo. All right, so this is going to pull the pymongo library into our virtual environment. Let's wait for that to download. So that's downloaded successfully. Let's move on to create a simple file and just test this installation. So what I'm going to do would be to pull this up in VS Code. Before I do that, I'll first so what I'm going to do is to pull this up in VS Code. All right, so I have VS Code opened up on my screen here. Let's go ahead and create a new file. Let's call that main.py, and in here I'm going to simply say from pymongo import mongo client. And next, I'm going to say client equals Mongo client, which is what we've imported. We're going to put in our URL. So here he's going to carry our URI for our database. So I'm simply going to say MongoDB localhost, because we're currently trying to use what we have on our computer, which is the MongoDB instance installed locally. All right. So next, I'm going to create a client. So we're going to call this tutorial DB. Let's use lowercase for everything, and we're going to create a sample collection here. I'm going to call this collection users. All right. So right here I have this collection created within this DB, and of course right here is our database instance. I am also going to pull up MongoDB Compass so we can test run what we have, and of course see the values as we create records or delete records in our DB. So let's connect to our local host. Okay, so here I have my local host connection. We're going to create a sample document in this collection. I'm going to set up a function that we can use to insert records in our database. Okay, so let's add a comment there. That is yeah, so just to describe what we have in this function. So we're going to say insert user. We're going to accept name, age, and email. All right, and let's have a sample user record here. So I'm simply going to say when the name is passed in, we want that to appear within the object that we're creating in here. So we have the age, and of course that should be passed into age, and we have email to be passed into email. Okay, so our result is going to be passed into that collection. We're going to use the insert one function there. So we're going to insert that user, after which we would simply return that result alongside the inserted ID. Right now we can proceed to create a sample user. So I'm simply going to say user ID equals insert user. So let's pass in Mav Solomon. Let's put in the age of 35 and the email. So I'm simply going to say John Mav Solomon at gmail.com. All right, so this is what I have. Let's go ahead and run this function. I'm going to pull up the terminal right here in VS Code, and I'm simply going to say Python main.py. Now remember, I did not activate the virtual environment here, so I have to do that as well. Let's go ahead and do that here. So now I can say python main.py. All right, so when I run this, I forgot to print the user ID. I would have done that ideally so we can see the user ID that we returned printed out here, but that's fine. Let's just proceed to refresh DB. So I'm going to refresh. Let's do that. I'm simply going to refresh database, and now you see we have tutorial DB with the users collection. When I click on that, you see the object we just created. This is the document we have created inside MongoDB. So in the next video, we're going to simply take this up again. We're going to learn about the various CRUD actions, which is creating a single or many records, reading those records from Python, updating those records, as well as deleting those records. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.